Experts straight from the field. Ukrainian soldiers now training in England, both to learn and to share their combat experience.
We're telling them about our experience on the battlefield.
Both sides are learning from each other.
A lot of them have had a lot of time at the front line and they know really well the realities in the modern battle. So we learn from them as much as we teach them.
4 years of war have turned these Ukrainian soldiers into sought-after experts. What are the British learning from them? A memorial service for Ukrainian comrades who fell in the war against Russia. The location in England must remain secret, just like the identity of the Ukrainians commemorating their fallen comrades far from home. The program is called Operation Interflex.
Among us, we have many soldiers from the armed forces of Ukraine who have direct frontline experience of those 4 years of hard fighting to defend their country. But mainly it's seeing the courage, resistance and unbroken resolve of the Ukrainian people, both soldiers and civilians, that we have the privilege to work alongside.
Artem has come directly from the front. He will spend 5 weeks here, training to be a section commander. He wants to improve his leadership skills.
We did not raise the white flag of surrender. We raised the blue and yellow flag of Ukraine. We went to get weapons and defend our people, our country.
Arthur has a PhD in history. Here, he receives psychological training. He wants to help fellow soldiers process the trauma they've experienced in combat, perhaps his own as well.
I wasn't thinking about what would happen the day after tomorrow. I was preparing for the worst. And when I made it out alive, and my men were still standing, I was surprised. Thank God. Almost like a bonus.
Artem too has had to fear for his life. He's actually a project manager in retail, a family man, but now he has more combat experience than most of the instructors here. And yet, the trainers are professionals. They are teaching Artem and his comrades how to lead small combat units. They are simulating close quarters combat, man to man.
I'm learning how to command my team, take orders, give orders, properly assess the situation, remain capable of commanding in critical situations.
The British started training Ukrainians shortly after the war began. At the time, the soldiers were mostly recruits. Today they are experienced veterans who require specialized knowledge beyond the basic training they needed initially.
We developed these trenches with the Ukrainians to try and match the reality that they have at the front. They're much more makeshift, they're kind of hand dug and they're not really very engineered. That the Ukrainians tell us is much more realistic and it's how they want to be trained.
More than 62,000 Ukrainian soldiers have trained in the United Kingdom so far. 13 partner nations are also taking part in the program. Here, the horrors of war are merely reenacted. These soldiers know them all too well from home.
In my own unit, our losses have been relatively low compared to other commanders, minimal even. But for me personally, They are still immense losses. It's in moments like these, when I look at photos, that those memories flood back.
Arthur has been seriously wounded several times, once by grenades. This time in England gives him the opportunity to reflect on his experiences in battle. He is part of a small group that is being trained as mental health practitioners. They are learning how to support their comrades in traumatic situations.
So give me your thoughts about that soldier's attempt to support his colleague.
You need to establish a connection. Direct eye contact. Eye to eye. Pupil to pupil.
For Arthur, the theoretical training he receives in England serves a single purpose: to defeat Russia.
He got down low, looked in his eyes.
A Ukrainian warrior is an intellectual warrior. He knows why he's going to the front. He knows what he has to do at the front. And this is in contrast to the Russian soldier, who doesn't know why he's there, who gets sent there by Putin.
Is the bit looking for slightly more.
Everyone here has the same goal.
But with one aim, to determine whether this person is safe. They have got a very clear vision. They want this to be over as quick as possible. They want to get back to being a nation and building families and that sort of thing. So they've got a very clear goal.
And the Ukrainians bring a lot of expertise to the table. Artem and his colleagues are showing the British how they operate drones.
Our partners have a certain understanding of drones, but they have not encountered them physically. They don't fully understand how exactly drones affect the battlefield, or how intense it really is.
Drone technology is critical to the war. According to Ukrainian government figures, the country produced an estimated 4 million drones last year. And their drone experts are literal role models for the British. One of the British Army's elite regiments, the Irish Guards, spent an entire year training with Ukrainian soldiers in England.
What you've seen today are the direct result of a lot of that advice and a lot of that experience that we had. Whether it be the use of small uncrewed aerial systems, the use of drone nets, the use of dropper drones. We would teach them a certain way that maybe the NATO doctrine has said for the last 20 or 30 years, and then there would be a debate and a discussion where they would say, I don't think that would work. They would then explain the particular threat that they're used to being under or the particular set of circumstances that they're in, and we could then change things and iterate and innovate from that.
And here is one that we've developed today.
Yeah, I'm loving this. This is absolutely fantastic. This is an FPV chassis, isn't it?
Yeah.
All soldiers in the regiment will now be trained as drone specialists, following the Ukrainian model.
In-house, and we can develop them to our needs.
Drone technology is advancing rapidly. That's why it is important to continually adapt. 3D printers help with rapid development.
If it weren't for Russia's full-scale invasion a few years ago, this type of warfare wouldn't have taken on such immediate importance for us. We're learning a lot from our Ukrainian brothers and sisters about the importance of being flat, fast and agile, using inspiration and skills from the bottom of an organisation. This isn't top-down stuff. This is bottom-up inspiration from bright young people having fantastic ideas.
For the British soldiers, piloting drones is just an exercise. For the Ukrainians, the war is bitter reality. After 5 weeks of training and mutual exchange, Arthur and Artem return to the front lines. To a battle with an uncertain outcome.
I used to run ultra-marathons. I know how hard it can be towards the end, when it feels like you have no strength left. You feel like you cannot overcome it. But that's exactly the moment when you have to keep moving forward towards the finish line.
Both feel a great sense of responsibility for their comrades, for their country. Before Russia's attack, neither of the two family men would have ever dreamed of training to become soldiers.
It's warm and welcoming here, respectful. But now we have to go back to our work. There is a lot of work to do. And that is not a comfort zone. Military life is tough. Sometimes it is painful. But I feel it has now become a part of me. I am really needed. I believe that peace will come for my children and for future generations. How soon it arrives will depend on us.
What are they bringing home from here? New insights, greater professionalism, and, if that's even possible, greater motivation. One final religious service at the camp in England, then they will be leaving the British countryside, back to the reality of war in Ukraine.
Українська архівагії, Православної церкви.